Guys, it's finally time. Gnut is on the progressive chance, and we are going to pull for him. Guys, Gnut is an amazing champion, and he's almost essential to launch you from the mid game or from the early game into the mid game. Guys, this dude is absolutely nutso. Hold up. Click the link in the description below right now to get a free legendary champion, Bambus 4-leaf, as well as one amazing free epic as you level up. Here are the exact steps you need to follow. 1. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC. If you've never had Raid installed on your mobile phone before, the link will work there too. 2. Click the link in the description and start a brand new Raid Shadow Legends account with a brand new email. 3. Launch Raid and complete your tutorial. 4. You can find Bambus 4-leaf here as well as Ugo at level 15. This is an amazing account start in Raid Shadow Legends, so be sure to use my link in the description below right now. On his A1, he has a triple hit, and each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. If the target's turn meter is not decreased, each hit has an 80% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the target for one turn instead. That books up to 100% chance. So 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for Fire Knight Hard on a triple hit is insane. Guys, on the A2, he has an AoE, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance, books to 100% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff and a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. So he has his own counter attack, he has a drop attack, he has a weaken. Guys, it's insane. That's all on a 3-turn cooldown. But this is the skill that gets this man fame, guys. Attacks one enemy 3 times on the Blessed Bash A3. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 3%, stacks up to 30%. Each hit also heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt, and damage is based on enemy max HP. Actually, each hit has a 10% enemy max HP multiplier, which means that this guy can just dock a boss 30% of their max HP with a single skill. Guys, fully booked, that's on a 4-turn cooldown. Then the passive here, when counterattacking, deals 100% of damage instead of 75%. And as I mentioned before, he is on the progressive chance. Now, I think what we have to do is go all in for this champion. So that means Sacreds, that means Primal, and I think that means Ancients too. I'm not sure about the Ancients yet. We'll have to see what the Sacreds and the Primals give us, because this dude is absolutely bonkers. Let's start with the Primals here. See if we can pull ourselves a Gnut. If not a Gnut, hopefully a mythical. That is a rare, unfortunate. Flesh Eater is a rare Ogren. He's meh. Most rares are pretty meh these days. Oh, an epic. We got an epic. Who is it? Lorne the Cutter. Now, this guy isn't bad at all. So, on the A3, attacks one enemy with has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 100%. That books to a 100% chance on a 4-turn cooldown. Isn't bad at all for an epic. On the A3, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a leech debuff and a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. That also books to a 75% chance, and that is on a 3-turn cooldown as well. So a little bit of healing and heal reduction coming out of Lorne the Cutter here. And then on the A1, attacks one enemy 3 times, heals the champion by 15% of the damage inflicted. Not bad at all, Mr. Lorne the Cutter, but he is not a Gnut. He is not a Gnut. He is not a mythical. That is another rare. Oh, unfortunate. Hey, it's Apothecary, though. He's not a bad rare. He has, on his A3, Boon of Speed, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, fills the turn meters of all allies by 15% on a 3-turn cooldown. Yeah, on a 2-turn cooldown on this Soothing Chant A2, heals a target ally by 35% of their HP. This heal can be critical. It says 35% HP, but it's really 35% of their HP. And then here we've got attacks 3 times at random, so not bad at all for Fire Knight. Apothecary is not a bad rare in the slightest, but he is not a Gnut. He is not Gnut. Here we go. Give me a Lego. Come on. Mercy on primals for Legos is pretty good. I'm sure we're in it now. We've never pulled a legendary from primals. Come on. Oh, it's an epic. Another epic. Not bad. Not bad. Oh, Malkuth Bloodflock. I don't mind Malkuth Bloodflock. He has on his blood transfusion A3 revives 2 random allies with 30% HP and 30% turn meter. Places a shield buff on all revived allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. That's on a 4-turn cooldown, so not bad at all. Then on the Hema Bomb, A2 here attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Also has a 75% chance of increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. That's on a 3-turn cooldown, so not bad. It books to 100% chance. And then on the A1, Death Plume attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of stealing 1 random buff from the target. Last one, Mythical or Gnut. Mythical or Gnut. Let's go. Oh, another epic. Man, the epics have been great today. Old Hermajor, great for faction wars, right? On the A3, Ghost Walk revives 2 random allies with 60% HP, then fills their turn meters by 40% and places a perfect veil buff on them for 2 turns. That's on a 5-turn cooldown, but it's a very good revive. Then on the A2, Heroes of Old places a 50% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and fills the turn meters of all allies by 20%. That's not a bad turn meter fill in the slightest. That's on a 3-turn cooldown. Mini Arbiter skill, right? Mini Arbiter skill. And then on the A1, Putrid Brazier, I think, attacks 1 enemy, has a 30% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. This guy's really good. He'll be kept for faction wars. But guys, no luck from the primals. Let's move on to the sacreds. Come on. Give me a Lego. That is an epic. Oh, Old Gruckus. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he does. Attacks all enemies, has an 80% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff and a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. On a 3-turn cooldown, books to 100% chance. That's not bad. On the A2 here, attacks 1 enemy, has a 60% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Also has a 40% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 30%. It does book up to 100% on a single target decreased speed, I guess. Attacks 1 enemy 3 times here on the A1. Each has a 15% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. So the A1 is nice. The A3 is all right. A2, to me, toe the line here looks pretty lacking, but it is what it is. And then speed in dungeons by 24% is not a bad aura at all. Not bad for early accounts. Not bad for early accounts. All right, come on, Lego. No. Oh, okay. Negorio's not bad. On his passive, Murderer's Lust, on a 3-turn cooldown, places a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Whenever an enemy's HP drops below 30%, this debuff cannot be removed. On the A3, Faster Than the Eye, on a 4-turn cooldown, booked, attacks all enemies, decreases the cooldown of the skill by 1 turn when attacking under an increased attack buff. On the A2 here, Abduct by Night, on a 3-turn cooldown, attacks 1 enemy, places a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. If this champion is under a increase attack buff, steals all buffs from the target before attacking, so not bad at all. And then the A1 here, Double Commas, attacks 1 enemy 2 times, places an extra hit if this champion is under an increased attack buff. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a block active skills debuff for 2 turns. I quite like Negorio. I think he's really good. He's a very good nuker for Shadowkin. So he might get kept for faction wars. We will see. We will see. All right. Another sacred. Come on, Lego. No. Arwid Crivergrass. I think she's okay. She's got attacks 1 enemy, damage increases by 30% if this champion has no active debuffs. Will also ignore unkillable buffs if this champion has no active debuffs. I guess that's all right. Quivergrass Vortex attacks all enemies before attacking, removes all buffs from this champion. Has a 75% chance of removing a random buff from all enemies. Books to 100% chance. On the A1, attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of stealing a 1 random buff from the target. And then the passive, this champion's accuracy is increased by 50 if they have no active debuffs. I don't know. I mean, I guess she's all right, but she's not any kind of Gnut. Come on, give me Gnut now. Let's go. No, still no Lego. Horden, though. Horden's in a lot of dungeon waves. Burning Hatred, on a 5-turn cooldown, places a 50% increased attack buff, a 30% increased crit rate buff, and a 30% increased speed buff on this champion for 2 turns. Grants an extra turn. Self-buffing there. Bloodletter, on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks 1 enemy, has a 60% chance, books to a 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. And then on the A1, attacks 1 enemy 2 times, grants an extra turn if the target is killed. Speed and faction crypts by 20%, I guess it's not bad, but it's no Gnut. We have 2 left. Give me that Lego. Come on, at least a Lego. Oh, man. Man, Gory. Okay, is Gory gonna help my faction war? Or, sorry, my Fire Knight. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Places an extra hit if the target is under a freeze debuff. Heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. No, he will not. Attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance, books to a 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Frost Jitsu. I quite like that on a 3-turn cooldown. Not bad. And then Frost Breaker on a, I think that's also a 3-turn cooldown here. Attacks one enemy, will ignore increased defense and shield buffs. Will also ignore 50% of the target's defense if they are under a freeze debuff. Places a counterattack buff and a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. And then Dignity passive here. Counterattacks with the Cold Comfort skill whenever an enemy places stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification debuff on an ally. I guess he's not bad, but I don't think he's great either. Mr. Gory here might get kept for faction wars. All right, come on. Last one, Gnut. Last one, Gnut. Oh my gosh. Flesh Terror. On the A3, lay low on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, increases the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. On the A2 here, on a 4-turn cooldown, heals all allies by 30% of their max HP, increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. So I guess he could be good for buff, debuff extension, that kind of thing. He kind of has a pseudo buff strip, I guess, but he's magic affinity, so kind of bad against force affinity. And then Multiplied Misery A1, attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of transferring 1 random debuff from this champion to the target. Guys, it's too good to miss. Come on, man. Oh, I can't believe this. We're nowhere near close to Mercy on Ancients. We haven't pulled a legendary from a Sacred, I don't think, since Colette. Oh, this is really rough. This is really rough. Should we go all in for Gnut? Let's go all in for Gnut, guys. It's gonna ruin my chances at doing the next fusion, though. It's gonna ruin my chances. All right, we're gonna stop there. As much as it pains me, we're gonna stop there. Oh, that was disgusting. That was disgusting. But hey, you know what? That's just even closer to Mercy for the next extra legendary event. Oh, Gnut is just so good. Gnut is just so good. Do we buy packs? Like, what do we do here? Are there any packs? Elite Shard pack for $70. 3 Sacreds. I am very tempted. I am very tempted to get 3 of these. Oh, I can only get 2 of them. Supreme Shard pack. Nope, that's terrible. I want a Gnut so bad. I really do. Oh, man. I don't think we can. I don't think we can. I'm just thinking, like, what if they do the summon pool for the Sylvan guy? I want to have some I don't want to empty the wallet twice this month. Oh, this sucks. Okay. All right. We could do the monthly. The monthly pack might not be bad. That might not be bad. For another 2 Sacreds. Nah, let's not. All right. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I have been Felris, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends. Hopefully you got a Gnut. I will see you in another video.